You're a pretty tough guy, yeah? Why don't you prove it? Gunfight. You and me, right here, right now.
"35 rare photos of the Wild West banned in history books." Take a journey back in time with me as we explore 35 rare photos of the Wild West that were banned in history books. Number 35, Seth Kinman and President Andrew Johnson. Imagine a man so skilled in hunting that he became a legend in the Wild West. That man was Seth Kinman, known for his extraordinary hunting abilities. Seth was not just another face in the crowd. His talent for tracking and hunting made him a notable figure. But it was his creative side that left an indelible mark on history. Seth had the honor of meeting President Andrew Johnson, and he decided to present the president with a unique gift that would stand out in any collection. He crafted an extraordinary chair from elk horns and bearskin, giving it a rugged yet impressive look. This chair wasn't just a piece of furniture, it was a symbol of untamed wilderness and Seth's connection to it. Number 34, Prostitution and Local Development. The Wild West was not just about cowboys and gunfights, it was also about the harsh realities and the ways people found to survive and thrive. In Arizona and other states, prostitution was legalized and taxed. This might seem surprising, but the income from licensing brothels and imposing fines played a crucial role in local development. They were marginalized and often treated as second-class citizens, despite their contribution to the economy. This dichotomy between their economic importance and social ostracization highlights the complex dynamics of the Wild West society. It's fascinating how a source of funding for public projects also became a point of social contention. Number 33, Thrilling Rodeos.
What Americans call a rodeo. Pitting his skill against untamed stallions and steers, each cowboy must...
Rodeos were the heart and soul of entertainment in the Wild West. These events brought together people of all ages to celebrate their culture and showcase their skills. One particularly thrilling event took place in California, where the audience was left in awe. A woman and her horse performed an extraordinary feat by jumping over a convertible. This wasn't just a display of skill, it was a testament to the courage and passion that defined the Wild West spirit.
The match. It's quite a trick, even for men born to the saddle. And when there's no saddle, well, that's...
Rodeos symbolized more than just entertainment. They were a celebration of the raw talent, bravery, and indomitable spirit that characterized the people of that era. Watching a woman and her horse accomplish such a daring jump was a powerful reminder of the grit and determination that were integral to the life of the Wild West. These events were not just about showcasing skills, they were about honoring the fearless and adventurous nature of the people. Number 32, Texas Madsen, the tallest cowboy. Imagine standing over 2 meters tall and walking through the streets of Wild West. Well, that was the life of Texas Madsen, known for his remarkable height of over 2 meters and 10 centimeters. His towering presence made him a famous figure wherever he went, earning him the title of the tallest cowboy. Texas fame spread quickly, and he soon became a popular attraction at parades and special events. With his characteristic cowboy hat, he stood out in every crowd. People flocked to see him, not just because of his height, but because of the aura he carried with him. His presence was always a highlight at any event, making him a cherished part of the Wild West folklore. Texas Madsen was not just the tallest cowboy, he was a living symbol of the larger-than-life spirit of the Wild West. Number 31, Annie Oakley, the sharpshooter. Annie Oakley's story is one of talent, determination, and empowerment. From humble beginnings, she rose to fame as one of the greatest sharpshooters in history. Annie wasn't content with just her success. She believed in empowering women through the skill of shooting. She spent a significant part of her life teaching women to shoot, encouraging them to become independent and secure.
Ready?
Roll! A miss!
Her involvement in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show catapulted her to international fame. As one of the main attractions, Annie enchanted audiences with her extraordinary skills. Her performances were not just about showcasing her talent, they were about inspiring others. Annie Oakley's legacy is one of empowerment and breaking the barriers, proving that with talent and determination, one could achieve greatness even in the rugged world of the Wild West. Number 30. Buffalo Bill's Wild West Show. The show was a huge success, captivating audiences with its vibrant portrayal of life in the Wild West. Buffalo Bill's Wild West Show featured a wide variety of attractions. There were the reenactments of famous battles like the Battle of Little Bighorn, which brought historical events to life right before the audience's eyes. Imagine watching a stagecoach being attacked by bandits, only for the brave cowboys to fend them off in a dramatic rescue. These reenactments were so realistic that they made people feel as though they were witnessing the actual events. But it wasn't just about battles. The show also included thrilling horse races, impressive pistol shootouts, and even parades with over 1,000 participants. One of the most popular segments was the display of sharpshooting skills, with performers like Annie Oakley dazzling the crowd with their marksmanship. Number 29. Bass Reeves, the first black deputy marshal.
You a lawman or an outlaw?
Bit of both, I reckon.
He was the first black deputy marshal west of the Mississippi River, appointed in 1875 by Judge Isaac Parker, known as the Hangman of the West. Bass Reeves was a remarkable lawman, and his achievements are nothing short of legendary. Reeves made over 3,000 arrests during his career, capturing some of the most dangerous criminals of the time. What's even more impressive is that he preferred to bring them in alive to face justice, although he did kill 14 outlaws in self-defense. His approach to law enforcement was both firm and fair, earning him the respect of many. Number 28. Hunters in the Four Peaks Territory. If you ever find yourself in the Four Peaks Territory of Arizona, you'll quickly understand why it was such a popular hunting ground in the Wild West. The region was known for its abundant wildlife, including deer, rabbits, bears, and even cougars. Hunters who ventured into these lands had to be incredibly skilled and courageous, as the terrain was as challenging as the animals were dangerous. The hunters had to navigate rugged landscapes, steep mountains, and dense forests. They relied on their keen senses and sharp instincts to track their prey and avoid becoming prey themselves. Hunting in the Four Peaks Territory was not for the faint-hearted. It required a deep understanding of the land and the animals, as well as a great deal of patience and perseverance. Number 27. Wild Bill Hickok, the Gunman. Wild Bill Hickok is the name that echoes through the annals of Wild West history. Known for his remarkable skills with a gun, Hickok was a larger-than-life figure who embodied the rugged spirit of the frontier. His life was a tapestry of adventure, danger, and remarkable achievements. Wild Bill was a jack of all trades in the Wild West. He worked as a buffalo hunter, a stagecoach guide, and even a lawman. But it was his prowess as a gunslinger that made him famous. Hickok was known for carrying a pair of pistols at all times, and his lightning-fast draw and deadly accuracy were legendary. Number 26. the only photo of Billy the Kid. The image, although damaged over the years, captures a moment in time that gives us a glimpse into the life of this legendary figure. Billy the Kid, whose real name was Henry McCarty, became famous for his involvement in numerous crimes and his ability to escape the law. His charismatic personality and his close relationships with outlaws and lawmen alike only add to his enigmatic legacy. In the photo, you can see Billy with a calm yet intense expression, surrounded by his companions. It's a haunting reminder of the dangerous and unpredictable life he led. This image is more than just a photograph. It's a window into the past, showing us a young man who became a legend of the Wild West. Number 25. Mountain Men. Imagine living in the wild, rugged mountains of the American West with only your wits and skills to survive. That's exactly what the mountain men did. These were the hunters, trappers, and explorers who roamed the untamed wilderness in search of fur and adventure. Their lives were incredibly tough, but they were some of the most skilled and resourceful individuals of their time. Mountain men were experts in tracking, hunting, and survival. They had to be. The harsh environments they navigated were full of dangers, from wild animals to treacherous weather. They lived off the land, often alone or in small groups, and built their shelters from whatever materials were available. Number 24. The cow who took kids to school. Life in the American West was full of challenges, and people often had to come up with creative solutions to everyday problems. In this case, the cow provided a reliable and safe way for children to get to school, traversing the rugged terrain with ease. This story isn't just about a cow, it's a testament to the unique lifestyles and the sense of community that existed in the Wild West. The image of these children riding to school on a cow is a delightful glimpse into a different time where resourcefulness was a key to survival and success. It shows how people adapted to their environment and made the best of what they had, turning even the most unusual ideas into practical solutions. Number 23. Guthrie, Oklahoma, a place of opportunities. Guthrie, Oklahoma, was a beacon of hope and opportunity for settlers seeking prosperity in the Wild West. In the late 19th century, the promise of new land and a fresh start drew many people to this burgeoning town. Guthrie grew rapidly as more and more settlers arrived, eager to claim their piece of the American dream. The town was filled with the hustle and bustle of new arrivals looking for land to build their new lives. Imagine stepping off a train with nothing but your belongings and your dreams of a better future. One such newcomer arrived in Guthrie, ready to find a plot of land and start anew. The promise of prosperity was real, but so were the challenges. Number 22. Navajo Riders. The Navajo Riders are legendary for their skill and bravery, particularly during their epic journeys across the Canyon de Chelly. This vast and challenging desert terrain was no match for the Navajo Riders, who navigated it with unparalleled expertise. Their journeys were not just about traversing the land, they were about survival, culture, and the spirit of the Navajo people. Imagine a group of brave riders setting across the desert, facing harsh conditions and difficult terrain. The Canyon de Chelly, with its steep cliffs and arid environment, required a deep understanding of the land and exceptional horsemanship. Number 21. Quanah Parker, the last chief of the Comanches. Quanah Parker was the last chief of the Comanches, and his leadership during a tumultuous time in history is nothing short of legendary. As the United States Army sought to expand its territory and control indigenous lands, Quanah Parker stood firm in defense of his people and their traditions. Under Quanah Parker's leadership, the Comanches fought bravely in numerous battles against the United States Army. These battles were not just about land, they were about preserving a way of life and a culture that had existed for generations. Quanah Parker's strategic mind and fearless spirit made him a formidable leader and a symbol of resistance. Number 20. Cow Claw, Tlingit potlatch dancer. Imagine a vibrant ceremony filled with traditional songs, dances, and storytelling. This is the essence of the potlatch ceremony in Tlingit culture. One figure who stands out in these ceremonies is Cow Claw, a Tlingit woman known for her beautiful and symbolic potlatch dance attire. In 1906, Cow Claw donned her traditional outfit, which was rich with symbolism and intricate designs. The potlatch ceremony itself is a significant event in the Tlingit culture. It's more than just a celebration. It's a gathering where the community comes together to honor their heritage, share their wealth, and reaffirm social bonds. During these ceremonies, Cow Claw and other members of the community would dance, sing, and share stories, passing down traditions from one generation to the next. Number 19. Sisters building a sod house. Picture the rugged plains of Custer County, Nebraska in the late 19th century. It was a time when many families moved westward in search of new opportunities and a better life. Among these pioneers were two determined sisters who set out to build their own sod house. These homes, made from blocks of compacted earth covered with grass, were a common sight on the plains due to the lack of traditional building materials. Building a sod house was no easy task. The sisters had to cut and shape the sod blocks by hand, stacking them to form walls that would withstand the harsh weather conditions of the plains. The construction required immense physical effort and ingenuity, but it was a necessary step to establish a home and start a new life. Number 18. James Miller, Killer Miller. James Miller, better known as Killer Miller, was one of the most notorious figures in the Wild West. His life as a hired gunman and criminal was marked by violence and ruthlessness. Miller was known for his cold precision and his willingness to take on any job, no matter how dangerous or morally questionable. Miller's criminal activities included participating in bank and train robberies, as well as working as a hired assassin. His reputation for being a fearless and efficient killer earned him the nickname Killer Miller. Throughout his career, he was involved in numerous confrontations and shootouts, leaving a trail of bloodshed and fear. Number 17. The Homestead Act of 1862. The Homestead Act of 1862 was a pivotal piece of legislation that had a profound impact on American families and the development of the West. The act allowed any American citizen to claim up to 160 acres of public land, providing they built a residence and cultivated the land for at least 5 years. This opportunity attracted countless families looking to start anew and build a better future. Despite these hardships, many families persevered, driven by the promise of land ownership and the chance to create a legacy. The Homestead Act played a crucial role in the westward expansion of the United States, transforming vast tracts of land into thriving farms and communities. Number 16. Pearl Hart, the Daring Outlaw. Pearl Hart's story is one of audacity and rebellion in a time when women were expected to conform to societal norms. In May of 1899, Pearl, dressed in men's clothing, executed a daring stagecoach robbery in Arizona. Along with her partner, she managed to steal around $450, a significant sum at the time. Her most famous heist, however, was a bank robbery in Globe, Arizona, in June of the same year. This time, Pearl and her accomplice made off with about $2,500, escaping in a carriage. Her bold attractions and unconventional lifestyle quickly attracted media attention, making her a notorious figure in the Wild West. Number 15. The Hatfield Family. The Hatfield family photograph from 1888 offers a rare glimpse into the daily lives and enduring unity of a typical family in the Wild West. Taken during a period known for its harsh conditions and frequent conflicts, this image captures the Hatfields standing together, embodying the rugged spirit and resilience required to thrive on the frontier. The family, famously embroiled in a feud with the McCoys, is depicted with a mix of stern and proud expressions, reflecting their determination and solidarity. Life in the Wild West was not for the faint-hearted. The Hatfields, like many families, faced constant challenges, from building and maintaining their homes to defending their land and livelihoods. Their daily routines involved arduous labor, including farming, hunting, and various forms of manual work essential for survival. The family bond was crucial in this context, providing emotional and practical support in an environment where danger and uncertainty were constant companions. Number 14. The 1894 sandstorm in Midland, Texas. In 1894, Midland, Texas experienced one of the most devastating natural disasters in its history, a massive sandstorm that wreaked havoc on the region. This catastrophic event saw towering walls of sand sweeping across the landscape, burying everything in their path. Farmers watched in despair as their crops were smothered under layers of sand, rendering their fields useless and wiping out entire seasons of hard work in a matter of hours. The impact on the community was profound. Homes were inundated with sand, livestock perished, and the health of the residents deteriorated due to the constant inhalation of dust. The economic repercussions were severe, as the destruction of crops and farmland crippled the local agricultural economy. Number 13. Round Pond Law Office. In the heart of Oklahoma's pioneer country, the Round Pond Law Office played a pivotal role in shaping the future of the region. As settlers flocked to Oklahoma in search of new opportunities, the need for legal expertise in land claims was critical. The law office served as a central hub for pioneers looking to secure their property rights and navigate the often complex and bureaucratic process of land ownership. The services provided by the Round Pond Law Office were indispensable. Lawyers and clerks helped settlers draft and file the necessary legal documents, ensuring their claims were legally binding and protected. This assistance was crucial in a time when disputes over land were common, and the lack of proper documentation could lead to lengthy and often violent conflicts. Number 12. The Rufus Buck Gang. The Rufus Buck Gang stands out in the annals of Wild West history for their audacity and the trail of terror they left behind. Formed by Rufus Buck, the gang was a unique and formidable group composed mainly of young African American and indigenous men. United by a sense of rebellion against the established social order, the gang embarked on a notorious crime spree that included robberies, thefts, and kidnappings. The gang's activities quickly drew the attention of both local and federal authorities. Their crimes were marked by a level of brutality and boldness that set them apart from other outlaws of the time. Despite their relative youth, the members of the Rufus Buck Gang operated with a fearlessness that made them infamous throughout the region. However, their reign of terror was short-lived. After several violent confrontations with law enforcement, the gang was eventually captured. Number 11. Sex workers on the Alaska frontier. During the Alaska Gold Rush, sex workers played a surprisingly pivotal role in the burgeoning frontier towns. These women, who came from a variety of ethnic and national backgrounds, sought to capitalize on the economic boom brought about by the influx of miners and fortune seekers. Despite facing significant social stigma and challenging living conditions, many of these women demonstrated remarkable entrepreneurial spirit. Sex workers on the Alaskan frontier often turned their earnings into investments, establishing local businesses such as hotels, restaurants, and saloons. These ventures not only provided essential services to the mining communities, but also contributed significantly to the local economy. The presence of these businesses helped to stabilize the often chaotic and transient populations of gold rush towns, providing a semblance of order and community structure. Number 10. Gano, Indigenous Leader. Gano was a formidable indigenous leader who fiercely defended his people against American forces during a tumultuous time in U.S. history. His battles were marked by strategic brilliance and unwavering courage. Leading his tribe through numerous conflicts, Gano became a symbol of resistance and resilience. He wasn't just fighting for land, he was fighting to preserve his people's way of life and their cultural heritage. Gano's legacy as one of the greatest indigenous leaders in U.S. history is well deserved. His leadership inspired his people to stand strong against overwhelming odds, and his tactical acumen often outmatched that of his adversaries. Today, Gano is remembered not just as a warrior, but as a guardian of his people's spirit and traditions. His story is a powerful reminder of the strength and determination of indigenous leaders who fought to protect their communities. Number 9. Butch Cassidy, the Master of Disguise. Butch Cassidy, whose real name was Robert Leroy Parker, was one of the most notorious outlaws of the Wild West. His criminal career was marked by a series of daring bank and train robberies, often carried out with the infamous Hole-in-the-Wall gang. What set Cassidy apart from other outlaws was his extraordinary skill in evading the law. He was a master of disguise, able to blend into different environments and elude capture time and time again. Cassidy's ability to outsmart law enforcement was legendary. He often used clever tactics and false identities to throw his pursuers off his trail. His leadership of the Hole-in-the-Wall gang turned the group into one of the most feared and successful criminal outfits in the West. Number 8. Iron White Man, Sioux Performer. Iron White Man was a Sioux performer who gained fame as part of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. His participation in the show brought the rich traditions and skills of the Sioux people to the audiences across the United States and Europe. Iron White Man was known for his incredible horsemanship and his prowess with a bow and arrow, captivating audiences with his performances. In the Wild West show, Iron White Man and other Native American performers would reenact famous battles, demonstrate traditional dances, and showcase their skills in various competitions. His performances were not just entertainment, they were a way to educate audiences about Sioux culture and history. Number 7. Judge Roy Bean. Judge Roy Bean, famously known as the Law west of the Pecos, was one of the most colorful and eccentric figures in the history of the American frontier. Bean's life was a blend of legend and reality, marked by his unorthodox approach to justice. Operating from his saloon courtroom in Langtree, Texas, Bean dispensed his own brand of frontier law, often under the influence of alcohol. His judicial practices were controversial, to say the least. Bean claimed to have been appointed as a judge by the President of the United States, though this story is contested by historians. Regardless of the legitimacy of his appointment, Bean's rulings were often based on a mix of common sense and whimsy. Number 6. General George Crook. General George Crook was a key military leader in the 19th century, renowned for his campaigns against various American Indian tribes. Joining the United States Army in 1852, Crook's career spanned several major conflicts, including the American Civil War and numerous battles during the Indian Wars. His military strategies were often innovative, and he was known for his deep respect for his adversaries. Crook's campaigns against the tribes were marked by both fierce battles and attempts at negotiation. He believed in understanding the cultures of the tribes he was fighting, often employing scouts from the same tribes to gain insights and improve his strategies. Number 5. Billy the Kid's Escapes. Billy the Kid, one of the most infamous outlaws of the Wild West, is legendary not only for his criminal activities, but also for his daring prison escapes. His real name was Henry McCarthy, but he was better known by his alias, Billy the Kid. His escapes from custody are as famous as his gunfights. The first major escape happened in 1881. Billy was being held in a jail in Lincoln County, New Mexico, awaiting execution for murder. One day, he managed to overpower a guard, steal his gun, and shoot him. As he made his way out, he killed another guard who tried to stop him. Billy then commandeered a horse and rode out of town, leaving chaos in his wake. This escape cemented his reputation as a cunning and fearless outlaw. Number 4. Patalaro, Indigenous Leader. The 1871 photograph of Patalaro, an indigenous leader, is a significant historical artifact. Taken in Nebraska by the photographer William Henry Jackson, this image captures a moment in time when indigenous tribes were facing immense challenges. The photograph shows Patalaro in traditional attire, standing with a dignified expression that reflects the strength and resilience of his people. During this era, indigenous tribes were under constant pressure from the U.S. government and settlers pushing westward. They faced the loss of their lands, forced relocations, and efforts to assimilate them into the dominant culture. Patalaro's leadership was crucial in navigating these turbulent times. He worked tirelessly to protect his people's rights and preserve their cultural heritage. Number 3. American Civil War soldier clowning around. This image stands out because it showcases the humanity and humor that persisted even in the darkest times. The soldier, dressed in his uniform, strikes a playful pose, bringing a smile to his face and to ours, even over a century later. This photograph is significant because it offers a glimpse into the daily lives of soldiers beyond the battlefield. It reminds us that these men were not just fighters, but also individuals with personalities and a need for joy and camaraderie. The humor captured in this image provides a stark contrast to the usual depictions of the Civil War, highlighting the resilience of the human spirit amidst chaos and suffering. Number 2. Calamity Jane at Wild Bill's grave. Calamity Jane, one of the most colorful characters of the Wild West, had a well-known affinity for Wild Bill Hickok. In 1903, she was photographed visiting his grave in South Dakota, a poignant image that speaks to the rumored romance and her enduring respect for him. The photograph shows Jane standing solemnly by the grave, a testament to her deep connection to Wild Bill. Their relationship, while often romanticized, was complex. Some accounts suggest that they were lovers, while others describe them as close friends who shared many adventures. Regardless of the nature of their relationship, Jane's visit to his grave after his death highlight her loyalty and the impact Wild Bill had on her life. Number 1. The Deadwood Stagecoach. The Deadwood Stagecoach was one of the most iconic and vital means of transportation in the Wild West. Carrying mail, gold, and passengers, it traveled through some of the most dangerous territories, making it a prime target for bandits. Protecting the stagecoach from criminals required a team of skilled and brave men. These guards were often armed to the teeth and ready to defend the coach with their lives. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.